Good morning, everybody. It's a beautiful day. Welcome to the Fasce Cast, your weekly podcast of everything football, fantasy, predictions, bets, news. We got it all. We're going to be every single Thursday morning at 8 a.m. at the Fasce Cast on YouTube. Today, I'm joined here by the Fast Brothers. So let's get right into it, guys. And we're going to kick it off, as we always do, right with our pick'ems. We're going to go right to the spreads. Man, what a rough week we had last week. We kind of got messed up there last week, but we're going to get back on track. We'll call it Redemption Week V2. But we're going to start with the Thursday night game coming up here in New York. And the weird thing for me is they got the Jets favored in this one. Texans coming into New York. The Texans are 1.5 point dogs at the moment. I don't know where that comes from. Is it like the Diggs injury, season-ending injury that and Nico's not back yet? I have no clue. But for me, and it seems like the Rescas right now, the betting line is 86% of America right now is on the Texans as well. I think I think I have to take that. I think I have to take Texans money here, and I'm not quite sure why they're the dogs in this game. Unless usually when like these spreads go like this, there's something that Vegas knows that we don't. So it kind of scares me going Texans here, but I'm doing it anyway. I'm taking their money.
Yeah, I'm following suit here. I was also confused when I saw the +1.5 for Houston. Like you said, maybe it's the Diggs thing, but I don't know. I don't see the Texans losing this game. The Jets have been horrendous as of late. So, quite simply, I'm taking the Houston Texans money line.
Yeah, that's exactly what is to be expected here. Texans, I also have no idea what's going on here with the DraftKings and whatnot, but I mean, that's exactly what we said last week with the last Thursday night game, where Rams and Minnesota. Everyone was like, "Oh, it's easily Minnesota," and everyone voted against the Rams. And then look what happened.
Very
Puka
true.
Nacua is all of a sudden healthy, and yeah. So honestly, you know what? Let me be a little different. Let me go with the Jets here. I think Vegas knows something I don't, and I think the Jets pull one off while Diggs is injured. So I'm gonna go with the Jets spread -1.5.
To be honest, I don't hate that because I
Yeah.
feel like something's gonna happen there where we're like, okay,
Hey, they have all their pieces. They gotta figure it out. Which who knows? Maybe it's this week. Maybe it's another week. Maybe it's never. Who knows? But
very
Vegas
strange to me.
Vegas knows something.
Yeah,
Vegas knows something that we don't. So I'll go with it.
I agree. I don't know what the heck is the Jets here. It's very strange how they haven't performed better. But we're going on to Sunday night, or not Sunday night, Sunday games. 1 o'clock. We're going into Baltimore. Broncos, the visiting team. They got 9 points going into Baltimore. Ravens off a big stinky last week. I did call that it would be. I didn't know Browns would actually pull out the win there, but I did call that usually they play a little bit closer. But seems like the games that the Ravens undoubtedly are gonna win, they lose. So this game, even though they are a huge favorites, I don't think they take this game lightly. I think they bounce back to their elite tierness out of division game, and I'm gonna take the full spread for them. I actually have a -9 here, surprisingly enough. Even though Broncos, you can't knock their gameplay right now. They're playing pretty good, but I think the Ravens are gonna have like their revenge game and win by 9 points.
I'm gonna swing here. The way Denver's defense is playing, they're insane. The Ravens, like you said, big stinky loss last week. but I'm taking the Broncos spread. I don't think they win the game. That's almost obvious, but I think they hold it within 9 for sure.
Yeah, Broncos defense is definitely the big thing for me here. They've been performing extraordinarily well, but I mean, you look at who they played against. I mean, in that division, Chargers, Raiders, Jets, who kind of are a little stinky on the offense right now, and you can kind of see why they've pulled some of these games away. And this game is against the Ravens, who, well, seemingly before last week had the offense all going for him. So, for me, I think the Ravens, like Justin said, I think they come back strong. They want to prove themselves that they aren't just a weak team and that it was just kind of a fluke thing that week. So I'm also going to take the Ravens spread here. I think the Ravens come out strong this week against the Broncos.
Ravens -9. Okay, we're moving on to the Buffalo Bills. We're in Buffalo this week. Miami, Tua, they're back. Divisional game. What's going to happen here after the Dolphins? I had them winning and they somehow lose with the best quarterback back in the game. I don't understand how that happens. Maybe he's got to get a little rust off after being off so what. But this game, let me tell you, going into Buffalo, divisional matchup, they lose again. But what I will say is I will take the spread at +6, being it's a little bit closer, and the Dolphins, I don't know what happens when Tua comes back, but it seems like they're like, okay, now we can play football. So I think that's going to go back for them. But I think the Bills will be able to hang on. But I do have the Dolphins spread for money reasons.
Money reasons, huh?
Yes, sir.
Well, we saw an uptick from Tyreek Hill, as I pretty much knew was going to happen. I'm sure all of America knew it was going to happen when Tua came back. And we also saw some fancy stuff from Tua. He just kind of... He also, by the way, slid when he got a first down. He slid.
That was big.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. But I'm definitely taking Bills -6. I might be biased, but Dolphins still haven't found it yet. And it's in Buffalo. It's a big, like you said, divisional matchup. But I think the Bills are kind of going to run away with this one. It's hard for me to put any sort of confidence back in the Dolphins as of yet. So, quite simply, I'm just taking Bills -6. Go Bills.
Before Caleb goes, what I will say is, brother, you definitely have a bias because I'm pretty sure you took Bills by 1,000,000 every single week so far. So
I think the only one I didn't was against the Ravens. But
now that he mentions that, I'm pretty sure you're actually right. Yeah.
To be fair, I did say last week Bills by like 20 something or 30 or whatever it was, and I rest my case.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I remember that one week I said Bills won by 30, and then they won by 30,
Well,
and
I mean,
no one actually expected it.
Yeah, I was going to say, when you say that every week, you're bound to hit one of them.
Hey, still, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But for me here, it's Miami versus Bills. We have Miami's number. I think they're still figuring things out with Tua back. Still trying to get back in the swing of things. This is the second week at home for the Bills, and it is at home, and we usually do pull it out at home in Buffalo against the Dolphins. So I think it will be. I think it will be tight. It always is usually a tighter game. I am going to go with the Miami Dolphins spread here, but I think it's going to be a comfortable Bills win in Buffalo.
I like it. And, yeah, as brother said, too, there might be some kind of, like, garbage fourth quarter yards or points. You never know. Keep them within 6. All right, we're going on to divisional matchup. Again, NFC East. Commanders heading into New York. They're playing the Giants this week. And for me, yeah, I just see this game as Commanders take alternate spread -48. All right.
So
not really. I'm gonna take the spread for Commanders, but yeah, they're gonna smoke them. Absolutely, just no chance at all for this divisional game or not. That it's just the different tiers right now, and and I think this is probably my most comfortable, easy minus 3.5 spread for the week.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the same thing. This is also comfortable for me at 3.5. So yeah, Commanders minus 3.5. Nothing else said.
Yep. Same thing. -3.5 for the Commanders.
Gee, okay.
Absolutely.
No reasons why. You guys are just full sending it.
Well,
Every week, yeah. Every week the Giants just keep on underperforming, and I mean Danny Dimes isn't getting it done. So it's and the Commanders' defense has been a lot better than I thought it was going to be. So I'll give them that too.
They're definitely improving. I could see that.
They are.
And I almost kind of knew it was going to happen because of Dan Quinn.
Yep.
And coming from the defensive coordinator side and being a defensive coach with us, the Cowboys, please come back to us. I almost seemed like he was going to get that together. So I actually really like the Commanders, maybe even edging out the whole division. We'll have to see for the rest of the games left. But yeah, I agree. Defense way better. We're heading on to Cincinnati. Raiders in shambles, coming into the Bengals. Bengals another loss last week, but Joe Burrow is still confident in his team and making the playoffs, and I'm still confident in them in this week too. I think they win by a touchdown. I think they get their offense rolling, and their defense has somewhat of I'm gonna say a little bit of an easier game this week. So that I think they get it rolling again, and T. Higgins is coming back. It seems like almost like Joe Burrow almost needs both Chase and Higgins to be in. So yeah, I got him by a touchdown.
Now, I will say this: last week I took the Raiders over the Chiefs, and they had a chance to do it at the end of the game. They just flopped. I think it was a fumble by Minshew that lost them the game, but they had a chance. It was close against the undefeated Chiefs. I'm gonna take the Raiders spread here at +7. It's pretty difficult to kind of look at Cincinnati and be like, oh yeah, let's just take them over a garbage team because they happen to be one of those garbage teams. We expected them to pick up kind of like midway through the season, but they're still 3-5. To me, I don't know. The Raiders I thought were going to be a lot worse once Devontae Adams left, but I mean they only lost by 7 to the Chiefs, so I will take the spread at +7 for the Raiders, but they do lose this game.
The one thing I will say about that is it is a divisional matchup, and I feel like they always do kind of play it somewhat close. So I mean, it's kind of hard for me to like say like, oh, they kept it close against a really good team when it is a divisional matchup. But yeah, I mean, still, yeah, it obviously, you have to give some props to the Raiders. They kind of shot themselves in the foot there too a lot. But yeah. Joe Burrow is. There's some games where they look incredibly good on offense, and then there's some games where they look incredibly bad on offense, and that's like their spot. They love their offense, like that's the whole thing that's going for them right now, and their defense kind of sucks. So for me, this is kind of almost like a toss up, depending once again on if the Bengals decide to show up on offense or not. But I'm just gonna say that they will, and so I'm gonna take the Bengals spread at -7. But yeah, I don't know. It's whoever decides to show up this game, I guess, for me.
Can we actually go back and look like when T. Higgins was in? Because hit or miss on the Bengals offense. That's like Caleb was saying. Can we look like when he was out of the game or questionable for the game or had to go out early and that hit or miss has implications on that? Because I feel like, I don't know, they just operate better when they have both of them in. I think it's like a Joe Burrow necessity. But yeah, I agree with that. But we'll head on to the game that everyone wanted to talk about this week. My Dallas Cowboys going into Atlanta. Atlanta at home. -2.5 favorites at home. take the alternate minus 48. Falcons are going to absolutely blow the doors off the Cowboys. We got nothing left. I don't even know if Parsons is coming back. Our defense is in shambles. We can't score the ball. 60 mil turns it over every single time we get into the red zone. CD is, yeah, he had a great game. Give him the garbage yards in the fourth quarter. Dak is the king of the fourth quarter garbage yards master. He can't do anything. He can't move. Dude, it's horrible. I can't believe we paid him for 4 years, $60 million a year for this. This is absolutely horrible. The team is in shambles. We're not doing anything this year. We might actually lose the next 5 games in a row. The Atlanta Falcons. I'm running out of breath because I'm so mad at this. Falcons minus 2.5.
Hey, mine's not going to be as emotionally charged as that.
Oh, wow.
Atlanta 2.5 as well, but yeah, he pretty much summed it all up. I don't know how anybody can top that. Atlanta minus 2.5.
I'm not angry. I promise I'm not angry.
Yeah.
I can feel it.
Brotherly sweep. Atlanta 2-5. I think.
Thank you for finally agreeing with me. You guys took a money last week, and I told you it wasn't even going to be close, and guess what? It wasn't. Guess what? Captain of the garbage.
Close.
No. Fourth quarter garbage yards, fourth quarter garbage points. Happens every week. They get blown out in the first. They started the second half down to 17 points, 0. Yeah, it's just all fourth quarter, just let them score because we feel bad for them. Happens every single week. Oh my God, the Yankees just had a 3-run home run. It's 10-4.
It is
Yankees in 7. Sorry for that interruption. But yeah, we're going to the next. We are going Chargers going into Cleveland. We got the Chargers as the favorites, minus 2. And quite honestly, I'm going to take it. I like the new... Cleveland just coming off the win against the Ravens. Huge. Offense is looking good with Winston back there. You got to love the guy. He's awesome. But yeah, I think that's probably an improvement there. But I feel like the Chargers will edge them out this game. J.K. Dobbins will pop off. Lad McConkey, if you listen to week 1 of the podcast, you had to pick him up on fantasy. He's going to pop off. And yeah, I just got Chargers minus 2.
This one was kind of tough for me to actually say Chargers minus 2. I mean, obviously the Browns beat the Ravens last week, but is that a good game from Cleveland or a bad game from Baltimore? Damn, this one's tough. I'm gonna take Chargers minus 2, but I think it could go either way, honestly. Yeah, I don't know. Like you said, much improved quarterback situation from Cleveland. I'm pretty sure you hate to see injuries like that, but I'm pretty sure the entire offensive side of Cleveland's organization was kind of relieved to have somebody else step in at quarterback. So, yeah, Chargers minus 2, but it could go either way, honestly.
I'm glad you said it could go either way. Give me the Browns plus 2. I think with the quarterback change, it has done a lot for him, actually. Also, they moved, I don't know if you guys saw this, but instead of Stefanski calling offensive plays, it is now going to Ken Dorsey. So they are making changes on the offense, and I think it showed a little bit in that game. While I didn't put up a ton of points, you got to think it was against the Baltimore Ravens, who did have a pretty good defense going into this. So I actually like the changes, what's been going on in the Browns. I think they look pretty good right now. And as far as the Chargers, I have not really liked their offense. It looks kind of stale at some points, especially during the first half of last game. But yeah, I think I just like the Browns here. Give me the Browns plus 2.
You know what? I actually like that. Do you think this is a season-saving kind of scenario for the Browns here? Do they have any chance of bringing it back?
No, they have no.
No, absolutely not. But you know what I mean.
Okay. Well,
it's
kind of hyped on that.
It is what it is. Yeah.
All right, we're moving on. We are going to Tennessee, and you know what? I'm just going to throw it out there for my first whoopsie daisy of the week. Patriots at a plus 3.5 dogs. I got a money line going in here. I got them going into Tennessee and taking the game for their, third win now out of 5 that they're going to get this year. So, yeah, I got them going in. Money line. Give me the whoopsie daisy. against the Tennessee Titans unless they have one saving grace. They have to put in Will Levis. If they do that, everything will change.
For my first whoopsie daisy, I'm going New England over Tennessee. I think both of these. This is an eyeball avoider for sure. It's one of those, unless you're staying for the memes. But quite simply, I got New England over the Tennessee Titans.
I do not. With the Drake May injury, they're going back to Jacoby, and their offense with him sucked. And the Tennessee Titans defense isn't all that horrible. So I think definitely eyeball avoider. But yeah, there's gonna be zero offense, and I'm really hedging my bets with who's got the better defense, and I think that's the Titans. So I think the Titans win this one. However, I don't see it going to a -3.5. So I will take the Patriots spread, but I do think the Titans win this game. No whoopsie daisy.
Whoopsie daisy for me. I like Jacoby. I think he was pretty solid. But all right, we're going to Carolina. We got a divisional matchup. Saints coming in, and the Panthers at a full touchdown spread +7. Looks like Bryce is going to be starting, if I'm correct. It looks like so. It almost looks like the Panthers kind of are just getting him some XP on the rest of the season here. Like they might be thrown in the towel already, which, I don't really blame them. But that being said, for my second whoopsie daisy of the week, I have the Panthers pulling this game out, and I got a money line. Let's go Panthers.
Oh my god. I'm not going that crazy. But I will take the Panthers +7. This is another eyeball avoider back-to-back. The Saints are in shambles. Carolina Panthers are still just a pile of rubble. So I don't really... I'm just taking the Carolina Panthers +7 because I think these teams equally are... How do I say this? PG. You know what? I'm not going to keep it PG. They're shitters, both of them. So Carolina Panthers +7. I think it could be a close game either way. Unless Alvin Kamara does pop off, which he could. But either way, I'm planning myself at +7 Carolina.
You know what? I agree with that. I think it's going to be dealing with some quarterback things going on. They're both not great at this current time. So I think it's going to be a close game, very low scoring. Alvin Kamara, like you said, might just have to rush for 300 yards in order for them to pull this game out, but I think they'll do it if it needs to be done. So I will go the +7, but I think the Saints probably pull it out in the end.
All right, you guys both got the spread. Now let me change you on this because Derek Carr is said to be coming back this week, I believe. Does that change any of your views on that?
Oh.
No.
Yeah, no, not really.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought I might throw that wrench in there, see if anything stirs the pot a little bit. But we're going on to the Eagles. I hate them so much. They're playing the Jags coming into Philadelphia. and it kind of looks like the Eagles got some mojo going here. 3 games in a row now, just off the Bengals win back in Philly against the stinky Jags. I'm going to take the spread for them. I think they win by over a touchdown here. I got Eagles -7.5 at home, and I think A.J. Brown goes for 3 touchdowns this game. Put it in your bets right now.
Well, I also hate the Eagles this week, specifically because of Jalen Hurts. He costed me 2 different losses in fantasy because of the stupid tush push that they should ban. They really shouldn't, because I guess it's just a football play, but whatever, I hate it. But yeah, easily -7.5 against Jacksonville. Jacksonville's just not good. And Christian Kirk is now out for the year, so that's cool. But yeah, Eagles -7.5.
Yeah, me too. I think, yeah, Jacksonville is Jacksonville right now. They still are struggling, and Philadelphia Eagles might be in their slump still, might not be. Who knows? They looked pretty good last week, so well, yeah, we'll rock with it. Go Eagles! They win.
Not go
Go for it.
Eagles,
Not
please.
go Eagles. Not go
Well,
Eagles.
I mean, I guess it really doesn't matter, but I would like to see the Commanders win. That would be really cool.
I would too. I would
Since the
too.
Cowboys are definitely not doing it this year, I'd prefer anything over the Eagles, even the Giants. Here we go. We're going into pretty much a pick'em game. Going into my sleeper team, Cardinals, Bears, joining them in Arizona, and it's a 1 point spread. So we got to choose here. Which team do you think looks better? Which team do you think wins? Traditionally, I would say Cod deal on this one. But Cardinals pulled out a few wins since then, so I think that trend is long past sailed. And traditionally, when I see these pick'em games, I just go with the home team, and I'm gonna stick with the trend. I think I got Cardinals -1 going in here. I do like the Bears though, and they just had a very upsetting Hail Mary loss, which was kind of crazy to be honest. Last week, devastating loss, and they don't get over it. I think the Cardinals win here, and I got a -1.
I don't, and I'll tell you why. God do. Now, we might be, like you said, they won a couple games, but you look at who they beat. They beat the Chargers, whose offense is not fantastic, and they beat the Dolphins, who their first game back with Tua. They're kind of still trying to find their footing with Tua back instead of three different quarterbacks at any given time. So, yeah, last week the Bears and Commanders was literally the Bears lost the game. If you guys, I'm sure everybody's seen the clip by now, but that one defensive player that was like talking to the crowd as the
Yep.
play was literally going on, and he was responsible for the ball being tipped back to
Yep.
Yeah.
that receiver. Yeah, and that was actually his responsibility. The receiver, he was supposed to box him out, and he didn't. So that was rough, but
Well, he was preoccupied.
yeah,
Yeah, to taunt the crowd. You can't win a
yeah,
game unless
obviously.
you taunt the crowd.
Yeah.
Well, that's also how you lose that game.
Yeah, exactly right.
So I'm going to take the Bears +1. They kept it close against a really, really, really good Commanders team, and the Cardinals, to Justin's surprise, are not playing very well. So, I mean, they do have 4 wins on the season, but they beat up on the Rams early in the season. Their team literally had nobody. The Niners also still had nobody, and they only beat them by 1. So, yeah, I'm quite simply going to take the Bears +1 here. Well, money line.
I'm right there with you. I think the Cardinals, while they keep managing to get games close, which I also think this will be a close game, but I don't know. Their offense seemingly comes and goes. Marvin Harrison Jr. also just seemingly comes and goes whenever he wants to, participate. He does. Whenever they want to throw him the ball, they do. And it works out sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't. And I don't know. I feel like their offense still has some stuff to figure out there. And the Bears, they played a fantastic game against a top contender team, and they should technically have won that game. Had some players done what they had to do, but we all know how that game went. So yeah, I got the Bears winning this game. I think it's mainly once again a defensive thing. It was a defensive game last game. I think the Bears defense is going to hold the Arizona Cardinals to very few points. So yeah, give me the Bears -1.
+1. But
Plus
here we go.
+1, same thing.
Into Lambeau for game of the week. Game of the week. Yeah, divisional matchup: Lions and Packers in Lambeau. This one's going to be really fun, guys. I think this is the game. It's a must-watch. To be honest, this should be flexed into the primetime slot. I don't know why we have Colts Vikings Sunday night game. They should definitely switch this because I feel like this is going to be for the week, in my opinion, the one to watch for. And the Lions are favored right now at -3.5. And man, in Lambeau, yeah, I think this is going to be a pretty close one. And you know what? I got with the top 5 teams here in the power rankings too from last week. So this is a tough one to pick. Could easily go for the plus spread here. Keep it field goal close. I'm assuming this is like a 50-50 on the bet lines too of the public. But for me, I think I'm going to take the Lions here. I'm going to take the spread. I'm going to take the Lions -3.5. And yeah, I just got to... I don't know. This is purely off vibes. This could literally be the other way, -3.5. But it's going to be a fun game to watch, and I'm just going to take the spread for them. Just full send it.
Yeah, this game is going to be legit, but I have the Lions 3-5. Their offense is just absolutely stacked solid, and the Packers. I don't know. I don't have a lot of faith in their defense against a top 3 team in the league right now. So Detroit -3.5.
I have a question before I answer mine. I know Jordan Love went down last game. Does anyone know if he's actually playing? Because I have not checked in on that.
From what I've seen, he's gonna suit up. He's slated to suit up, but he went out obviously last week.
Yeah.
The rest of the game, and I think it
So-
was just kind of one of those like.
Let me do a little boop, 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 boop.
Yeah, he needed a little bit of a drink. No, he's good. He's in there. But yeah, assuming he suits up and is playing in this game, give me the Packers +3.5.
Yeah, it says just a strain, not serious. Looks like he's gonna be playing this week too. But yeah, I like it. Packers 3.5. You said.
Packers 3.5. I think their defense. That was a big concern coming into the year. It has been very excellent. McKinney there, insane. He's been getting an interception basically every single game. He's doing good things. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it will come down to a field goal. Am I confident the Packers pull this out? No, probably not. But I think it'll be very close regardless. So, yeah, Packers 3.5.
All right, we're moving on to Seattle, another divisional game. This is must be division week, and we are at a 2-point dog at home for the Seahawks. The Rams coming in off of a what the heck Thursday night prime time win over the undefeated. Wait, they lost the line to the one loss Vikings, but no one expected it. They got both the receivers back, and then boom, look at this, they're scoring points. Yeah, I think I like the Rams. I really do. I don't know what it is. It's almost like the same scenario as last year, where everyone counted them out. Trade rumors coming across the board. I think there was even a McVay rumor, like he's done after the year or whatever, and then they end up going to the playoffs. So I think it's almost going to be same scenario. They're getting their injuries back up. They're getting their offense back. Some defensive injuries coming back. Their lines coming back, kind of thing. I got a -2.
Yeah, I'm sticking with the same thing. I have the Rams -2. Puka Nacua absolutely exploded his first game back. Cooper Kupp with a touchdown. They just looked really good, and I think they're going to carry that. And we saw kind of last week with Seattle falling apart on the sideline. A couple players got into a fight. It's just not looking good on their end. Maybe they rally back, but like I said a few weeks ago when we were talking about contenders and pretenders, I said the Seahawks were pretenders, and I'm sticking to that, and I'm going with the Rams -2.
By the way, if you didn't put in Puka for fantasy this week, what are you doing?
Hey, shut up.
What are you
Shut up. That's so targeted and you know it. That is so targeted and you know it. I don't even want to talk about that. But yeah, when Puka and Cooper Kupp are healthy and Kyron Williams is healthy, it's an entirely different team. They they offensively they can go anywhere the ball, and it's gonna be good. So yeah, with how the with how the crybaby Seahawks performed last week, I think the Rams got this in the bag. Give me the Rams -2.5.
Yeah, that's a good point to make too. That they got all their weapons back. It's going to open up already kind of with like amazing performance without the receivers. Now it's going to open up that playbook, and yeah, defense is going to have a hard time against that. So I agree with that. We're going on to Minnesota. Colts coming in after benching Anthony Richardson for getting too tired from playing. And they got the old man in because the old men never get tired. That's right, old men are the best. I got the Vikings -5. I don't think Flacco gets it done. Vikings had a 2-game losing streak. They bounce back. Justin Jefferson's going to be super mad. He's going to go for 3 touchdowns as well. Book it in right now. Vikings -5.
Sorry, did you say 3?
Yep.
Oh, all right. Well, I also have the Vikings -5, but I do think the element that changes everything about this is literally Joe Flacco coming in. With Anthony Richardson, the team is horrible, but they kind of let him play too long. Tapping out as a quarterback because you're too tired, literally you deserve the equivalent of the chair. Whatever punishment the team has in the NFL, you deserve it. It's just not a good look. It's terrible. Your whole offense is now looking at you like nobody's going to respect you after that, so they have to stick with Flacco. Hopefully he stays healthy throughout the year because as soon as Richardson comes back, there's going to be issues. But yeah, I'm taking the Vikings -5 to a really, really struggling Colts team.
Yeah. I would have to agree. I almost don't agree with the whole quarterback change. I don't know. I mean, they're still definitely in contention to win. So obviously they're trying their best to win it and go to the playoffs and do what they can there. So I understand that, but I don't know. I mean, with their rookie, it's kind of hard to just take him out. It's kind of almost the same thing with Bryce Young. Is it too early? Is it not? Who's to say? Obviously, there are some business decisions there, and yeah, I mean, I guess if you're too tired to play in a game, you're too tired to lead your team to the playoffs. So I guess that was kind of their reasoning there. But yeah, I think the Vikings are going to go silly, stompy mode all over the Colts and their team. So yeah, I'm agreeing with you guys. -5 for Vikings. Whee!
Alrighty then, mate. We are going to the Monday night game in Kansas City. We're going to close out the pick'ems with the Bucks. Their wide receiver core is damaged. They're missing both still Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. Godwin's gone for the season. Evans coming back after the bye. Man, they kept it close, kinda-ish with the Falcons. Late, they made it entertaining, which is pretty cool to see. Baker getting it done. But what I will say about the Chiefs is their largest margin of victory so far this year is by 13 to the Saints. The Chiefs don't blow anyone out. They just are the game winners. They just win the football game somehow. They don't have a extremely impressive offense. Their defense is winning them games. You know, they don't score. They don't let people score against them, kind of thing. And 8.5 points for the Buccaneers in a primetime Monday game. I don't see them not covering this, to be honest with you. Even if the Chiefs win by a touchdown, which happens every single other week. So for that, I am taking the spread for the Bucks. Chiefs, I think, unfortunately, do win the game, but yeah, they don't really blow anyone out. So I think this is an easy spread for me.
A second whoopsie daisy of the week.
Wait, what? Like, actually?
Who's the starting quarterback this week?
Daddy Mayfield. Oh wait, what was that the question?
Yeah, that was.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Bucks. I think realistically and honestly, if I'm looking at it the way I want to look at it, which is probably not the best way to look at it because I just hate the Chiefs, right? Realistically, besides week 1 and week 3, this is without a doubt the toughest matchup for the Chiefs that they've had all year. Niners with all their players healthy, that would have been the toughest, but they had literally Ayuk literally went into the nether realm with his knee, and Debo had pneumonia. So that would have been a tough
And
matchup.
CMC wasn't there.
And CMC obviously was not there. But that goes without saying because he's been gone all season. But he will be back probably after this week for, was it week 10? What are we in? Week 9? Oh my God.
Yeah, going into
but So I am actually going to take the Bucks to win this game against the Chiefs because even with the receiver core of Mike Evans and Chris Godwin out, they still had a really good showing against Atlanta, who is a very tough team to play against. Now they are going into what?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you, too, because you were just mentioning, like, all the 49ers injuries and stuff, and this is
Yeah,
our hardest matchup. Almost the
yeah.
same said about the Buccaneers with their injuries coming into this game.
Well, you see, we saw this is the first week that we saw all the players on the Bucks actually injured and not playing. Obviously, Godwin went out last week with an ankle injury, as did Mike Evans. So this is the first week we saw the Bucks actually play without those pieces, and they still kind of showed out against a very tough team. Now, if we're looking at the Niners all year, uh, obviously they've had Chris Godwin. Ayuk kind of was in and out, and then he signed a deal last minute, and he started playing. CMC has been out all year, and we see that CMC is kind of the cornerstone of that offense. George Kittle missed some time, so we are seeing two different stories from those teams, and the Bucks still kind of held it together without those pieces. Rashad White had a pretty good game. Baker threw 50 passes, and they still almost edged out the Falcons. And that being said, the Falcons have a propensity to blow teams out of the water with their offense, and they didn't against the Bucks. Now the Chiefs don't really blow anybody out of the water, like you said. So I feel this week the Bucks have a better chance of beating the Chiefs than the Niners did without their pieces. So for that reason, I'm taking the Bucks money line for my second whoopsie daisy.
When do we start
No
having
Tampa.
conversations about undefeated season? What week does that come
No,
No,
it's not
gonna
happening.
happen.
Okay.
Until the last game of the week, they go undefeated. I will not talk about it because I don't
Yep.
want it to happen.
Yeah,
Okay.
right. I'm right there with you. Yeah, I think. Nah. Yeah, it's I pray to God it doesn't happen. I'd be really, 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 really sad. But for me right now, yeah, I would love to root against Kansas City like I have pretty much every single week so far. But I can't. So I agree with Justin there that it's going to be a kind of close game because they don't blow anyone out. So I'm going to agree with him fully here. I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay spread at plus 8.5.
Alrighty. Well,
And it's an Arrowhead too. And it's an Arrowhead.
that's true. Yeah. But yeah, so Taylor Swift will be there and everything, so they got the whole party going.
Exactly right. Exactly.
But that'll conclude all of the pick'ems this week. Lock them in, and yeah, this is our redemption week. We're coming back, so this is the time to follow the bets if you got them. All right, let's move on to the next topic that I kind of wanted to discuss into. Very interesting after the Cincinnati loss to the Eagles this last week. Joe Burrow in his press conference, if you guys saw it, didn't seem shook at all, concerned at all, and he has his team in high spirits here, which I guess almost you kind of have to say that in that kind of setting. But he says, "Yeah, I'm not worried about it. 10 wins gets you into the playoffs. That means I think they got to win 7 more out of the next 9 that they play." So going 2 losses for the rest of their games here. How realistic is that? Do they still have hope to make a playoff run here? How's the AFC shape into it? How's their division shape into it? What do you guys think of like the reality of the way they've performed so far? And do you have faith as much as Joe Burrow does to get the offense rolling and actually score some points and win some games? And literally only taking two more losses to get to that 10 wins. What do you guys think of the reality of that scenario for them?
I'm gonna say realistically, I don't see it going well for Cincinnati this year at all. They have the Raiders this week, which the Raiders are. They can be a tough team at times, but they also can be a very easy team to pick up a win against. But then after that, they have the Ravens, which obviously the Ravens are a powerhouse of a football team. Obviously, we saw a blemish in the armor last week against Cleveland. But then they have to play the Steelers twice. Now, being that those are divisional matchups and the Steelers are currently in first place, if we see the Steelers start to dip a little bit, which it's going to take a span of 3 weeks, Bengals winning all games, Steelers losing all games in those 3 week spans, it's going to be a dogfight, those games, and they have to play them twice. The last one that they have to play is going to be in Pittsburgh. Now, they also have to come up against a very stellar Broncos defense and the Cowboys, but that should be a win. So,
Oh, come on.
but being that they
Oh.
play the Steelers twice, that I think that fact alone, and the Ravens, really, it doesn't look good for them. Their offense has not been very good. So because of that, I'm gonna say they missed the cut this year.
Uh, yeah, you know what? You bring up a lot of good points. It's as good as they may have been in the past, as good as their team still is, all the pieces that they have on offense. You have to look at their record right now and what they got going on. I mean, their division, even though all the teams in that division, obviously minus the Ravens, but they may not have the greatest of records, but they are tough teams still, and it's it's really tough for them, especially how far back they are right now. I think if they really wanted to have a good playoff shot, they had to get something done a lot earlier. They had to. I mean, you gotta. It's really hard to come back when every year you're starting like 0-4 basically. Uh, they just I don't know what it is at the very beginning of the year, but they're just little stinkers at the beginning of the year, and I think they got to change that for next year. They got to figure something out. They got to really work hard in the off season because it seems like they do basically nothing in the off season to prepare. Um, with their performance in the first couple of weeks. So for me, I don't see much of a chance of them in the playoffs unless they sneak in a very lucky 8 spot in like the final week of the season.
Well, I'm really glad I went last year because I have one very important question for you guys. Aside from the division winners right now, who is performing better or of equal value to the Bengals right now?
Of equal value?
Yeah, to the Bengals. Because the
Are you-
Colts,
are you-
like you got number 2 in the division, the Colts, I would say they're worse than the Bengals right now. The Jags are far worse than the Bengals right now.
Well, I don't know about
Broncos
the
and
Colts.
Chargers, like you guys were saying in the pick'ems, the Chargers are weak. You don't have confidence in their offense. I would say they're as equal strength as the Bengals right now. Broncos, they're one of those teams where the rookie quarterback, they can win games here and there, but the strength of schedule, they could easily fall. And I would say they're playing probably about equal to, maybe a little better than the Bengals right now. You look at the AFC East, they have all 2 wins. The second, third, and fourth team, Dolphins, Patriots, and Jets, are all stinkers. So who in those, in wild card situations, would the Bengals actually not be able to pull this out? I'm looking at the rest of the schedule too, like you guys said. Yeah, they have the Ravens, but guess what? They should have beat the Ravens. They missed a kick in overtime to win the game, and they ended up losing. That should have been a win for them. They have the Ravens again. Yeah, it's going to be in Baltimore, but that could go the same way. Divisional matchup, they may be able to pull out that game. Even so, even if they split the Steelers because they have 2 games left with them, say they lose to the Ravens, whoop de doo, they lose a game to the Steelers too. And that's the only losses I see them have. They have the Chargers, weak team. This next week should be a lock against the Raiders. Cowboys, easy peasy. They haven't won a home game all year. Titans, you might as well write that off. Browns divisional matchup, they already beat them in Cleveland. This is going to be a home game. I see them, even if they get to that 10 wins, and I see them winning a lot of these too, even if they even get to 9, I don't see the teams and the rest of the AFC right here, the positions and wild card, even if they grab a wild card spot, there might be 3 playoff teams in the AFC North. I feel like the confidence should be high with Burrow, just looking at the rest of the teams there. I think they do make it, and I'm almost willing to bet that they do.
Realistically, with Tua back, I think the Dolphins have a pretty good chance of going on a little bit of a run here and putting up a tough competition.
Okay, and they're already a game behind as well.
Right, there's still a decent amount of time left in the season, so we got to look at that with Tua back, and we also have to look.
And you also have them losing this week too, so that'll put them another game back.
I just don't have trust in the Dolphins with Tua back right now. But you see when he's on the field for a good amount of time, he's not hurt, he's healthy, he's playing well. Tyreek is playing well. Waddle's playing well. Their offense is kind of clicking. Without him, it wasn't. So with him and getting more snaps and getting reacquainted with your primary quarterback, I can see them playing well. And then you look at, the Colts sitting Richardson, which he was a huge detriment to the team. Now you have somebody who was literally a miracle worker last year in Cleveland. And he's a solid, sound quarterback. He is father time. He's like 87 years old and is still slinging the football better than probably half the league. But the Broncos. The Broncos are kind of weird, right? The rookie quarterback situation, but their defense is so solid and they're just winning games. Like when teams come up against the Broncos, they have a tough time scoring points. So I'd say those 3 teams, realistically, give them the toughest fight. But then the Chargers as well, they're kind of a weak team at points, but we might see them start to pick up, honestly, at the end of the year. They kind of have a tough schedule towards the back end of the year, but I guess it all depends on a few scenarios, but in my opinion, I just don't see Cincinnati pulling it out this year.
All right. Well, even the Colts too. We've already seen a few weeks with Flacco, so I think I would hedge my bets Bengals over Colts there. But yeah, we could see it. I think they definitely do. Full sign. And we'll go to the other side, other team from last week too, who they played last week. Eagles. What is the realistic opportunity for them? Are they out of their, I guess, long past now, quote unquote, slump? Have they figured things out? They're on a 3-game win streak now. They just pretty much convincingly beat the Bengals pretty easily here last week. Do they have the right pathway to take the division once again, even over the Commanders? Who do you guys like in that scenario for that division? Are the Eagles back? Do you think they have it? Are they going to continue their streak? Are they back to the Eagles that we knew from the Super Bowl run they had? Take it away.
The Eagles. Oh, boy. I said in the beginning of the year that they weren't going to be the same Eagles that we saw last year. They went on a tremendous drought, obviously, last year and blew their season up. And with their last 3 wins, yeah, that's a good sign. But still, it was against the Browns, the Giants, and the Bengals. So it's hard to kind of chalk those 3 wins up as they're back, right? It's probably an easy win this week against the Jaguars, and then they play in Dallas. That should be actually a tough game. Being in Dallas, like you said, you haven't won a game at home all year, but it's still a divisional matchup. Now, at this point, the only real challenge that they have in the division is the Commanders. The Commanders are playing solid football. Obviously, they almost have the same record, with the Eagles just having the bye. But yeah, I think the Commanders are the toughest to run, but towards the end of the season they have the Steelers, tough defense, Commanders in Washington. That's going to be a tough game. They have the Ravens, they have the Commanders twice actually. So I don't know. I guess lean on the back of Saquon and pray to God. But I don't like Jalen Hurts this year. I don't think he's playing as well as he could with the weapons that he has. I mean, you got Saquon Barkley now. You still have Devonta Smith and A.J. Brown, and they're just, squeaking wins away from the Browns. They only won by 4. They blew the Giants up, but that was largely in part of Saquon saying, hey, you guys got rid of me. Well, they didn't get rid of him. He signed with a different team. He was a free agent, but I'm no longer on your team, and this is what you could have had if you actually built me a decent O-line and let me be a football player. And then he exploded and went and the Eagles won that game pretty convincingly. So, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see down the stretch how the Eagles pan out.
Who do you think wins the division? Commanders still?
See, that's a tough one. If they stay healthy and keep playing the way that they're playing, I don't see. We've really seen no hindrance from the Commanders.
So they still have 2 matchups. They haven't played the Commanders yet, so they still have 2 games against them. So that'll be the real tell there. If they had to play this week, who do you have?
Commanders.
Okay.
I agree.
Yeah, Caleb, what are your thoughts?
I think, for me, it's definitely a toss-up between these two. But I definitely think the Eagles have a very good shot at playoff contention. But winning the division, I don't know. I mean, you look at the Eagles' schedule, and there are some tough games here. Obviously, divisional matchups are always tough, no matter who you're playing against. But I don't know. The Eagles, like last year, they could go. They had a couple slumpy games at the start, but they could always slump at the end too. I mean, they have all the pieces that they need. Whether they are able to utilize them well, and I also very much dislike the head coach there in Philadelphia, so I would love to see them lose. Mainly for that reason, no other reason. I love Saquon. I hope he does good things, but yeah, I don't know. The Eagles, right now, if I had to bet as well, I would go Commanders over Eagles as well for this.
I'm glad I went last once again because I have a different approach. I think the Eagles won 3 in a row, and I think they're going to win 3 more in a row. Pretty convincingly here at home against the Jags this week. But then they got back-to-back divisional games, and I think what happened was their bye week couldn't have come at a more perfect time for them. I think this was a perfect way for them to regroup, get everything going back, and they're full healthy on offense again now. And I don't know about the Jalen Hurts. I think a lot of people discredited because of the first half of the season. He definitely was not doing great. He's protecting it a little better. He's throwing a little better, and the offense is moving. What they have, 37 points, almost 40 points last week. I think they're back. I think this is a team that's just improving week after week, and I think they win the additional 3 weeks here for a 6-game winning streak before they lose to the Rams, and they have a very good shot at retaking it. To be honest, if I had to predict right now, I'd say the Commanders and the Eagles are deadlocked. Same record, 12-5, 12-5, and the Eagles edge it out because of the divisional matchups. They win the tiebreaker. So I have them winning the division, but both Commanders and Eagles making the playoffs. But yeah, I think they're back, and I think they have a good shot at a playoff run again this year. But all right, yeah, enough about we got a side of AFC there, NFC. We got to talk a little bit about playoff implications, who's winning that division. Let's go into more about our actual predictions. I want to get everyone's final four. Give me your AFC championship. Give me your NFC championship. The predictions at the point of the season, we're a week over halfway. At the point right now, if you had to predict the rest of the year, who's going Final Four, and who will beat who in the Super Bowl. We'll write it down. We'll lock it in. We'll see how close we are at the end of the year. Who do you got?
AFC Championship. I want to see it so bad, and I think you guys know exactly what I'm gonna say. I can almost guarantee you guys know exactly who I'm gonna say. I'm gonna start off with the Chiefs. Actually, you know what? I'm not going with the Chiefs. I'm going Texans Bills for the AFC Championship. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna go with. Texans Bills. The Bills are outscoring teams when they win by a lot. Besides what against the Jets, I believe they only won by 3. But every other game that they've won, except for week 1, but week 1 and 2 are kind of, you're still putting like your new acquisitions and stuff. You're getting them familiarized with actual gameplay, so that's a little tough. But I mean, they are blowing people out of the water when they win in their losses. I mean, they lost pretty big to the Ravens, but that's because Derrick Henry is a robot and he's fake. He's not real. But they are just outscoring everybody. They have a plus 84 point differential, which is the second largest in the league behind the Detroit Lions. Texans just look like that team. Every now and again, they'll have a couple hiccups. Lost to the Vikings and lost to the Packers, which are two really, really good teams. So, I will say Texans, Bills, AFC Championship. And obviously, I'm going to say the Bills are going to win that game. But if I'm being realistic, I would say the Texans will probably... Actually, I don't know, because they just lost Stephon Diggs for the year, which is pretty big. It's quite large. And if they have all their pieces healthy, obviously Nico Collins is not right now. But that's a pretty big loss for the Texans. Bills just got Amari Cooper acquisition. Everybody's staying healthy. Keon Coleman is playing out of his freaking mind, and I love to see it. We saw last week the confidence that Josh Allen is building with Keon Coleman is super promising. It looks super fun. So, I'm honestly going to say Texans-Bills, AFC Championship. The Bills go to the Super Bowl. Don't laugh at me. I am a fan, but it looked really good.
Hey, it's possible.
Now, the NFC, I think, is probably the tougher conference to call because there are so many teams that are so good in that conference. The NFC West is kind of in a really weird spot right now where you have a lot of potential in 3 of the teams, and the other team in the NFC West, their quarterback just signed a COD deal. So you're getting you're getting Christian McCaffrey back, which is huge. Obviously, we saw what their offense is capable of without him, and it's not very much. The Seahawks are kind of falling off the wagon a little bit, but the Rams, with their pieces, look legit. And that's just that conference. Obviously, you still have Green Bay. In the North alone, you have the Lions, the Packers, and the Vikings, who are all super good football teams. So that whole conference is a toss-up. And then the South, you have the Falcons and the Bucks. Both teams are really good. The Bucks just lost Godwin for the year, but they have Mike Evans coming back eventually. But honestly, Detroit looks way too good to not say that they're going to be in the NFC Championship. Like, that team is disgustingly good. And then for me, it's either going to be the Eagles or the Commanders. like I said, down the stretch, we'll see what happens with the Eagles. But the Commanders, if they keep playing their caliber of football that they're playing, they might make it to the championship. So NFC Championship, I'll sit with the Commanders and the Detroit Lions.
Who do you get Super Bowl winner?
Yeah, Buffalo Bills.
Oh, okay.
I saw that one coming.
Okay.
Honestly, I don't know. I think it's the Lions' year this year. Last year, I think all of America wanted them to, make it.
Beat the Niners at least, yeah.
Yeah,
But it didn't happen. I was pulling for them. I didn't really care. Obviously, since the Bills were out, who won? I just wanted the Chiefs to lose, and I think that the Chiefs would have lost against the Detroit Lions. But yeah, that's my pick. I think honestly, Detroit Lions are going to walk away with the Super Bowl this year. If I'm being not biased at all.
no bias. No, none at all. Looking at the playoff picture here right now, AFC. Right now, Chiefs 1, Texans 2, Steelers 3, Bills 4, Broncos 5, Ravens 6, Chargers 7. Obviously, teams can change. Regardless, right now, Texans, Chargers, give me Texans. Steelers, Ravens, give me the Ravens. Bills, Broncos, give me the Bills. Right? Okay. Bang. Boom. Got it. All right. And then let's go 2 seed. Texans would go against now the nope. Texans would go against the Bills, I think, right? If that's correct. 2 and 4, then 1 and 5. Yes, or 1 and 6. Yes. Okay. Give me the Ravens over the Kansas City Chiefs. Give me the Bills over the Texans. I know what you're gonna say. Woo, they played their game. Yeah, shut up. All right, Bills win that game. Ravens, Bills, Ravens win that. Unfortunate. It's crazy. It's sad how that works, but Ravens are gonna win the AFC. Whatever. Things could change. Maybe the Bills do win. Bills Lions Super Bowl would be awesome because then we get someone new instead of Taylor Swift winning every year. Anyways, NFC, Lions, Commanders, Falcons, Cardinals, Packers, Vikings, Eagles. Obviously subject to change. The teams do look pretty solid right now. Obviously, I can see the Bears moving up there. I could see maybe the 49ers moving up there. Maybe if the Bucks were healthy, absolutely, Bucks could get in there. Maybe the Rams make a really good push since all their pieces are back. Cowboy, not those. Anyways,
Why?
Right now there looks like one big team right now in the NFC, and that is the Detroit Lions. Yeah, they look like a powerhouse team. Right now, actually, if I had to pick two, I would say that my championship might actually be this matchup that the Lions and Packers are going to have this coming week. I think that is a very, very good playoff type game. So we're going to really see what two top NFC contenders are going to look like. Yeah, I mean, I think the Packers got everything going for them. I think they got the offense. I think they got the defense. The Lions, same exact thing. Commanders, maybe a little bit lacking on the defense still. Falcons, they're a little bit of an interesting team. Sometimes they want to play. It depends, Primetime Kirk Cousins, whatever he wants to do in that game. Cardinals, definitely, I don't know. That's a weird division. I wouldn't say I have them going very far if they do make it to the playoffs. Although they were also my dark horse team. Vikings could definitely make a push. They were a lot better than a lot of other people were expecting. Eagles definitely could make a push. But right now, if I had to pick two, give me the Lions and Packers. And I'll have the Lions winning that one. Even though I had the Packers winning this, but we'll see. We'll see. Playoff contentions. I think the Lions are going to give everything they got this time. I think they're going to go all the way. I think they're going to the Super Bowl, as that's what the script writer wants. So, Lions, Ravens, Super Bowl. Give me the Detroit Lions.
Oh, God. Did you do the seating as is, like right now?
Yep.
That's kind of cool. All right.
I did.
So nothing changes.
Nope.
All right. Well, I'm going to throw some curveballs at you guys. Something you didn't see coming at all. Here's what I got for my final four. I'll start.
I swear to God, if you say the Cowboys.
Well, bias says it be the Dallas Cow. No, okay, I'm just kidding. I will start with the NFC though, and yeah, everything that you yeah, pretty much has been said already. There's really nothing that can stray you away from the Lions being here again this year. So I have them as one of my final four. I don't think I don't see them not making it at this point. They're like Brandon said, they're just like way too good right now to count them out of anything. So I got them in the final four. And here's my curveball for the NFC. I got my final four facing the Lions, the Atlanta Falcons, going to the NFC Championship this year, and facing off against the Lions for a chance at the Super Bowl. So that are my two NFC finalists are the Falcons, surprisingly enough, against the Lions. Let's move over to the AFC. Once again, one of those elite teams. I have to do it. And I have them actually beating the Texans to get here. The Baltimore Ravens. You got to do it. And here's my curveball for the AFC that you guys weren't expecting, but I kind of already hinted at it because they're going to pick up. I got the Cincinnati Bengals going to the Final Four and facing the. After beating the Chiefs, they get to go against the Ravens in the AFC Championship. And my finalist, I bet you all are wondering. I think Lamar Jackson has a 3-peat MVP year, and this is the year that they finally do it. They get over the hump. They get all over the playoff. Can't do it in the playoff talk. Lamar actually does it this year. I got him winning the Super Bowl against the Lions. And that's what I have for my predictions. So let's move on to everyone's favorite game of the week. It's okay. It's not okay. All right, here we're going to do a kind of a fun one here. What do you guys feel about? Is it okay to boo a player that had previously played on your team last year? So he walks on the field, name gets announced, take the first snap of the game. The whole crowd, boo, you suck, boo, get out of our stadium, boo, you couldn't win a Super Bowl with us, so you suck, ooh, we hate you now, you're not on our team, boo. Do you think it's okay or not okay to show complete disrespect for a player that just played for you last year?
So I will say this. If you are a fan of an organization, you want what's best for the team. You want them to win, and you want them to win pretty much by whatever means necessary. Sports are a very mental part of the game, or the mentality is a huge aspect in sports. So knowing that this person has left your team and is now playing at, the stadium. I guess it could be, you could boo them if you went to a game, like an away game. So, for instance, say, we'll just take Pittsburgh and Denver. So, if there was a game in Denver and you were a Pittsburgh fan, no, pardon me, other way around. If you were a Denver fan and you went to Pittsburgh and Russell was starting, you could boo him, but you'd probably get punched. So, do what you want with that. But being that you want your team to win by almost any means necessary, you're going to try to rattle whoever you can, whenever you can. That's kind of your role, sitting in the stands as a fan. You're obviously not throwing balls, you're not catching passes, you're not doing anything, you're not throwing down blocks. You're there to support your team with your voice. And if that's the only weapon that you have to help your team win, you can use it however you need to. Obviously, within reason. Don't go out of pocket. Don't go crazy. But I will say that it is a 100% okay to boo somebody that has left your team and is now playing for a different team.
Let me change the scenario. What if it's Tom Brady against the Patriots? He just won a Super Bowl with you. He goes to the Bucks, and after winning 7 Super Bowls with you, or whatever it was, five Super Bowls with the Patriots, and then he walks on the field and you boo him.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Obviously, there's a lot of respect in that scenario. So you give him respect where respect is due. Obviously, that's why they have ceremonies and stuff like that or they have tribute videos and stuff like that for players. I'll just use like Marc-Andre Fleury for Pittsburgh Penguins when he left, not to his own doing. If you guys don't know hockey, they had an expansion draft, and Pittsburgh left him off the protected list. And it was very obvious that Vegas was going to pick him up, so they took him. In his first game back in Pittsburgh, it was super emotional. I'm a grown man. I did not cry. Put it on the record.
He was.
It was, yep. But so they have the tribute in the beginning of the game, but during the game, emotions run high, and like I said, you want your team to win no matter what. So I think it is your role to do whatever you can within reason to help your team out and win that game. So if it means booing a legendary player that has played on your team, then it means booing for that or booing that player.
I agree. It also happened. I mean, let's just look, just like a couple weeks ago with Saquon, when they played against the Giants, they were booing him. And he did everything that he could in the Giants, and he didn't feel respected, so he moved. And that is a absolute personal choice, and a lot of the fans may not have liked it because they want their star player to stay, and not chase the money or whatever happiness. But yeah, it was absolutely his decision. Yeah, so a lot of the fans were booing him, and then he ran for 176 yards right into their face. So did it really matter? No, not at all. So I mean, the fans can boo all they want. I think it is completely fine. I think it's a completely normal part of the game. And yeah, I would be one of those people. I agree with Brandon. I think you got to get in their heads. I think you got to do whatever you can to watch your team win. And sorry if you decided to move on from my team, but you're getting the boost. I don't care.
All right, so I'm kind of glad I went last again.
Oh my!
Because I'm going to give you guys a different angle that you weren't even thinking about. You're on the right track here, and I'm going to say it's not okay. Because exactly, you guys are saying the exact right things, but for the wrong reason. So you want to do everything for your team to win, and when Saquon gets in front of a whole entire crowd that's booing him, what do you think that does to his mind? Do you think it makes him sad? Do you think it makes him like, man, now I can't run the ball? No, it makes him run 200 yards against you and go for 2 touchdowns. If you want to do everything you want for your team, you're not going to boo the guy that just left you and fuel the already revenge game that he knows he has against his old team to just perform even better. So it's not okay in the fact that you want to do everything as a fan in your role to your team to win, being in the stands. Why would you fuel that whole situation revenge game? Imagine booing Tom Brady and having him drop 400 on you for 6 touchdowns. That's not what you should be doing as a
and
crowd.
I blame the defense.
Yeah,
not me.
And so you're looking at it the right reasons, but the wrong result here. Because almost, I'm glad you mentioned the game, the Saquon game. It's already everyone knows that's what happened.
Let me ask you this.
So it's just gonna fuel you as a player. Like, oh yeah, well we'll watch this. I'm sorry I had to do it to you.
Let me ask you this. Do you think Saquon, going into that game, was in a neutral head zone? Like, do you think he was like, I'll just go play football? Like, it's not already emotionally fueled for him? And, like, booing him actually does anything more than what he's already done to his own mental state?
I think it probably does. Just the reaction of the environment, and you play off the vibes too. I think exactly what you said too, going into the game. In his mind, he knows, I want to run against my old team. I'm going to show them what they're missing out on. And then the crowd fuels it as well. By when you step on, they boo you, and then you just run for 200 yards. I think it all plays into like the gasoline on the fire that you already have going into the game. But yeah, so you heard both views. I kind of took an outside approach there for the it's not okay for me. Let us know what you guys think. Is it okay? Is it not okay? to fuel the booze in the crowd as a fan? Or is it okay? Is it perfectly okay? It is what it is. Let us know over on X. It's going to be at the Fasce Cast. We'll post the poll there. Everyone can vote whether you think it's okay or not okay. But what we'll do here is we'll conclude the podcast, and we'll join you all next week to every Thursday, 8 a.m. Fasce Cast, YouTube. You know where to find us. And we'll see you next week for another fantastic episode of It's Okay, It's Not Okay, and everything else in between. All right, guys, any closing remarks?
Go Bills.
I knew that was good.
Yeah, Bills to the Super Bowl. Go Bills. Oh!